A year from our past.
In a year from our past, we'll be doing a brief history look back at a year from each decade and what we remember from those years.
So Scott will be looking back at 1988, and I'll be covering 1998.
I'll get us started with 1988 movies. Some popular movies from 1988 were The Naked Gun, Die Hard, Coming to America, They Live, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Red Heat, Child's Play, Cocktail, The Last Temptation of Christ, Rain Man, Willow, Beetlejuice, Big, and Young Guns. The Oscar for the Best Picture in 1988 was Rain Man, and the highest grossing movie worldwide in 1988 was also Rain Man, with $413 million.
Some popular movies from 1998 were Saving Private Ryan, Deep Impact, Shakespeare in Love, The Truman Show, A Bug's Life, The Big Lebowski, Rushmore, There's Something About Mary, The Thin Red Line, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Mulan, American History X, and Armageddon. The movie that walked away with the Best Picture Oscar in 1998 was Shakespeare in Love, and the highest grossing movie from that year was Armageddon, with a worldwide gross of $554 million.
So as far as the best pictures go, 1988's Rain Man and 1998's Shakespeare in Love, they're actually both movies that I like. I'm not too sure which movie I would say was better. Which one do you think's better?
I'd have to say Rain Man. I don't really care for Shakespeare in Love. I thought it was kind of boring.
So some of the 1988 movies, obviously like Die Hard is a classic and almost kind of changed the way action movies were done from then on. Red Heat is a movie some people might not know of. It was a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that I really liked. It's one of his lower key ones, let's say.
I haven't seen that one.
He plays like a Russian undercover cop or KGB guy.
How's his accent?
Fine for a Russian. The Last Temptation of Christ, I remember a lot of controversy with that movie, but I don't really remember the movie that much. Don't think I found it that interesting.
That's Willem Dafoe, right? He plays Jesus.
Yeah. Can't remember who the director was. Was it Oliver Stone?
I think it was Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, it might have been. Big was a movie I really liked for a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. I liked the part where they dance on the piano keys in that big toy store.
Yeah, it's a classic scene. For horror movies, Child's Play is very popular, but it wasn't a movie I really liked. I didn't find it that entertaining or scary, for that matter.
Did you see the recent reboot?
No. Did you?
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
And comedies, Naked Gun and Coming to America were both movies I liked. Naked Gun was kind of that slapstick humor, like Airplane and a lot of other Leslie Nielsen films.
Yeah, I really love the Naked Gun trilogy. I think they're all pretty funny.
Yeah. And one of my favorite westerns was actually Young Guns, and I still enjoy that movie today. So
that's about Billy and the Kid, or Billy the Kid.
I think it was, yeah, and
yeah,
that was Emilio Estefan. Was that his name?
Right. Emilio Estevez. Yeah.
It was, just a lot of the popular actors at that time got together and made a typical western movie. Some of the 1998 movies, Deep Impact. That was a movie that I did enjoy. Actually, I kind of like it more than Armageddon. I think they came out around the same time, probably the same year.
Yeah, it was the same year because Armageddon's on this list too.
Armageddon was fun, but I liked Deep Impact a little more because it seemed a little more serious, I guess.
Yeah.
The Truman Show was a movie I really enjoyed. That was Jim Carrey. I think it was one of the first roles that I saw him in that wasn't slapstick comedy.
Yeah, it wasn't really over the top, like him acting like a goofball.
It had comedy in it, but it was more of a drama.
Yeah. Great movie.
Yeah. Something to Do About Mary. That was a really good comedy for that year.
Yep. Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of the movies on the 1998 list. Saving Private Ryan, I mean, that opening, the D-Day landing, it's pretty brutal, but really captures your attention, and I think the last battle in the movie is also quite good. Truman Show's classic. I really love The Big Lebowski. A lot of people don't like it very much, but it does have this kind of cult status. Rushmore is pretty decent. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's kind of a strange film to watch, but Johnny Depp's performance is really good, as well as Benicio del Toro. And yeah, at that time, I really liked American History X. I thought Armageddon was kind of dumb, but yeah, I like most of these from the 1998 list. And for the 1988 list, yeah, I really love The Naked Gun. Die Hard is one of the best action movies ever made, in my opinion. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I loved that as a kid. I thought it was really cool how they managed to put like cartoons in a live action feature, and it looked real. I've never seen The Last Temptation of Christ, but I do like Martin Scorsese movies. Beetlejuice is one of Tim Burton's best movies. And yeah, I also enjoyed Big.
Some hit songs from 1988. We had Bobby McFerrin with Don't Worry, Be Happy. Poison, Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Robert Palmer with Simply Irresistible. David Lee Roth, Just Like Paradise. Tracy Chapman with Fast Car. Living Color with The Cult of Personality. Van Halen, When It's Love. Cheap Trick, The Flame. Bon Jovi, Bad Medicine. U2 with Desire, and Metallica with One. The song of the year was from Chicago called Look Away, and the best song for the Grammy in 1988 was Bobby McFerrin with Don't Worry, Be Happy.
And some hit music from 1998. We have Aerosmith, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. The Bare Naked Ladies, One Week. Britney Spears with One More Time. Jay-Z's Hard Knock Life. The Beastie Boys, Intergalactic. Lenny Kravitz's Fly Away. Rob Zombie's Dragula. Jimmy Ray's Are You Jimmy Ray? And Semisonic's song Closing Time. Song of the year, according to the Billboard Top 100, was Too Close by Next. And the song that walked away with the Grammy for Best Song was My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
As far as the music goes, the 1998 Grammy, Celine Dion, and 1988's Don't Worry, Be Happy. I think I like the Don't Worry, Be Happy more.
Yeah, it's a little more uplifting.
I mean, both of them are not really my genre of music, but between the two, I mean, they're both good songs in different ways, I guess.
There was a rumor going around on the internet that Bobby McFerrin guy, that he actually like blew his brains out, but then I found out it was completely false. I think people just made it up to make it sound like kind of ironic.
The 1998 music, some of it I know, some of it I don't. I like Rob Zombie. Was really into White Zombie before he went solo.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a song that's really easy to bob your head to.
Dragula.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot in high school.
Yeah, I think it was in the movie The Matrix. So it was part of that soundtrack originally.
Yeah.
The Lenny Kravitz album I really liked. I'm pretty sure Fly Away was an okay song, but there was other songs on that I really liked on that album.
Mm-hmm.
Beastie Boys, Intergalactic, I know that song. I don't know too much of the more modern Beastie Boys songs. I liked them back in the 80s. Bare Naked Ladies, that was a Canadian band that was, pretty popular worldwide.
Do you remember this song in particular, One Week? It's where the lyrics are like super fast.
Yeah, I remember the song. This is a decent song.
Yeah, I just remember I think I was just starting high school, like grade 9, and that song you could hear it everywhere.
And the Aerosmith song, Don't Want to Miss a Thing, I think that was probably from Armageddon, or one of the songs in Armageddon that came out that year. It's interesting how Aerosmith usually seems to be relevant in quite a few decades, like both the 80s and 90s, but even the 70s, and not sure about the 2000s, but Aerosmith has been around for a long time.
Yeah, I'd say, the 70s they had that song Dream On, then they had a lot of hits in the 80s and early 90s, so I think those 3 decades they were pretty
a long-lasting band.
Yeah.
From the 88 songs, Poison was a band I was into, the old hair metal, glam, rock, whatever you want to call it, but they're a band I've seen multiple times in concert, and looking back at it, questionable, but it was a band I was really into at the time.
Okay.
Tracy Chapman's Fast Car, that was a song I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I still like that song.
Van Halen came out with that album. I think it might have been the first album without David Lee Roth, so it was like with Sammy Hagar. David Lee Roth went solo that year, and Van Halen came out with the new singer. Metallica, in the late 80s, that's when I really got into Metallica, and Justice for All was probably the first album of theirs that I started listening to them. And One was quite a big song that came off that album.
That's the one with like the machine gun fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the 1988 music, I was quite young, so I do remember some of these songs. The "Don't Worry, Be Happy" I remember from the Big Billy Bass. You know those things you'd see in people's garages with the plastic fish, and you'd hit a button and it would start moving. And usually it sang that song, "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Tracy Chapman, "Fast Car," and that other hit she had, like "Give Me One Reason."
Yeah,
I think she's really talented. I think she.
That was
She had a
in a previous year or episode, right? I think in the 90s.
Yeah, I think she may have been in the last episode.
So she was around the late 80s, early 90s, I guess.
Right, right. For the 1988 music, I mean, I grew to appreciate Metallica a lot later.
Yeah.
And from 1998 music, I remember a lot of these just because I was starting high school at the time. Yeah, a lot of these stick out for me. I remember "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" being played at like a school dance where everyone was kind of like high and nervous and, going through puberty and stuff like that. "Hard Knock Life" by Jay-Z, that was really great for me at the time. Yeah, and the Beastie Boys song "Intergalactic," you see that a lot in movies, like as like a build-up song to like the final, battle or something between two opposing forces. Lenny Kravitz, yeah, I agree with you that "Fly Away" is a good song. Rob Zombie's pretty cool. I like that Dracula song. It's got like that heavy metal guitar in it. And Semisonic, "Closing Time." That's one of those songs where you always used to hear at the bar. It's like they put it on just as like people like, yeah, it's time to finish your drinks and get the hell out of here kind of thing. Yeah, both decades had good music.
And in some TV news and other events from 1988, TV, we had the Wonder Years debut, which debuted on January 31st, and made the old Beatles song "With a Little Help from My Friends," sung by Joe Cocker, quite mainstream and famous. And Roseanne debuted on October 18th on ABC. A popular toy that was released in 1988 was Baby Grows, which was basically a doll that you could like hit a switch, and over time it kind of grew in size and went from a baby to like a 4-year-old. Obviously something that neither of us had, but I think it was a popular toy back then. Some technical breakthroughs from 1988. We had the antidepressant drug Prozac, which was introduced to the market. The first major computer virus infected computers connected to the internet in 1988. And the U.S. stealth bomber was unveiled from the U.S. Some popular news and events from 1988. We had the Winter Olympic Games that were held in Calgary, Alberta in Canada. The drug crack first appeared on the streets in the U.S. around 1988. And Ben Johnson won the 100-meter gold at the Seoul Olympics, but then was disqualified for taking steroids.
And some TV events from 1998. We had BBC Worldwide debuting BBC America for the first time. Long-running British children's television series Teletubbies begins its U.S. television debut on PBS Kids. 76.3 million people tune into the finale of Seinfeld on NBC. Actor and comedian Phil Hartman is shot and killed by his wife. In front of a nationwide audience watching on Fox, Mark McGwire hits his 62nd home run of the Major League Baseball season, breaking the 37-year-old record held by Roger Maris. Popular toy releases from this year, we had Furby. And technical breakthroughs include evidence of frozen water discovered on the moon's surface. Zarya, the first module of the International Space Station, is launched. Apple releases the iMac. The Food and Drug Administration approves Viagra for use as a treatment for erectile dysfunction, the first pill to be approved for this condition in the United States. And the world's first medically successful hand transplantation carried out by a team of surgeons in France. And some big news events for 1998. We have Europeans agreeing on a single currency, the euro. U.S. President Bill Clinton is accused in the White House sex scandal. He denies allegations of an affair with White House intern Monica Lewinsky. The Unabomber is sentenced to 4 life terms. And Matthew Shepard, a gay Wyoming student, is fatally beaten in a hate crime.
All right, so from 1998, for news, I definitely remember the whole Bill Clinton scandal and the Monica Lewinsky thing and the whole jizz on the dress or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. Cigar in the snatch.
Yeah, I don't remember that actually. I remember a cigar being involved, but I guess looking back at it, you would assume that's what it was for.
Mm-hmm.
Viagra, obviously I've heard of that. Never had to use it, but maybe I will someday. Someday soon, probably. And television, the whole Seinfeld thing. I like Seinfeld. I'm not a huge, super fan or nothing. Like, I didn't go out of my way to watch every episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like the show. I don't know if I saw the finale. I'm sure I did, but I don't remember it.
It's a lot of people were disappointed by it.
As far as 1988, I really, even though I was a lot younger then, I really remember the Winter Olympics in Calgary. I'm seeing that on TV all the time, just because it was quite the big thing, living in Canada when I was young. And, everybody wearing like these cowboy hats. And I also remember a big thing was pin trading. I'm sure it is at every Olympics still, but I remember seeing a lot of things on, people that travel the world to go to Olympic events and having pins to trade from various countries and stuff. And I was in high school at that time, in 1988, and I remember watching the Ben Johnson race. It was on at nighttime, and I remember watching that and being so happy that he won, and of course finding out later on that he was busted for using steroids and had the gold medal taken back.
Yeah, he was Canadian too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like a decade later at some point, like another Canadian, Donovan Bailey. He won
Bailey, yeah.
100 meter or something like that.
Yeah. And Mark McGuire in the 1998, obviously I remember him because a lot of people used to say I looked like him, especially when I first moved to Korea. A lot of Koreans actually thought I was him when I went to a baseball game.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how he got busted for steroids or some type of, no, I think it was steroids, but he got busted for steroids too.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
Just like Ben Johnson did in 88. So again, 10 years apart and a couple of famous athletes getting busted for the same thing.
Yeah, people still juicing.
Yeah.
All right. And for 1988, I remember the Wonder Years. I remember this iconic song that started the show. I ended up seeing Joe Cocker years later. He was opening for the Guess Who when I saw them perform in Toronto. And I remember him singing that song. And yeah, even like as an old man, he really belted it out. I don't remember Baby Grows at all, but I think it's a pretty cool idea for a toy. Prozac, yeah, I remember hearing about that. Stealth Bombers, I remember seeing in like movies like in the 90s. Like, what was that one with John Travolta and Christian Slater, Broken Arrow?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I was 4 years old when these news events came out, so I'm not familiar with any of them until later on hearing about them. Yeah, the TV events for 1998, I remember seeing the Seinfeld finale, and people thought it was kind of a disappointment because all they did was just kind of bring in old characters and like rehash like old plot lines and stuff like that, which I think was a pretty clever idea. But yeah, it wasn't that funny. You'd think they'd have like a much funnier finale to such a great series. I was a big fan of Phil Hartman. He was on SNL, and then he did a lot of voices on The Simpsons. So, and he was in a few films as well. Like a very tragic death for that guy.
He was on News Radio.
Yeah, he was on News Radio too. That's right. I don't remember the Furby. And for the technical breakthroughs, I think Viagra sticks out just because there were so many, late night talk show hosts making jokes about it.
Yeah, sticks out literally.
And don't remember the hand transplant. I think the biggest news event here is the Bill Clinton thing. It was all over the news, at least in Canada and the US. People couldn't stop talking about it. And again, late night talk show hosts just ate this story up. They'd have like one-liners for every monologue they had, like opening their shows. The Unabomber thing is, yeah, I wasn't too familiar until they made like a mini series about that guy a couple of years ago, which I liked. I think it was called Manhunt or something like that. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Of course, there's a lot more music, movies, and news events from both 1988 and 1998, so feel free to let us know about your favorites and your memories from these specific years in the comments below, wherever you find this podcast.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you regarding these years and get your feedback. Now let's move on to the main topic of this episode. It's time for Battle of the Decade. Thanks for watching that clip, and if you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Leave us your comments below and check out more at 10yearsapart.com. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. You can find the full episode of that podcast this clip was from, plus other videos from us right here. Thanks again.